Hey guys, I'm Justin with Legato Financial Group. Our firm is passionate about helping educate consumers, which is why we're powering the Gaining Interest podcast. The podcast of quick conversations with industry experts on topics that you want to know about, from sports to dining to healthcare and automotive, and really everything in between. It's hosted by one of the greatest local personalities that I've met, that's John Ramsey.
I'll tell you why I love this podcast, because it's all about community. We used to call it water cooler talk, and that no longer exists. But if it's interesting to you, it's interesting to us. We encourage you to tell your friends. As Justin mentioned, we're going to talk about everything under the sun. We will be gaining interest, and we appreciate you watching. Welcome once again to Gaining Interest. I'm John Ramsey, your host, and we are powered by Legato Financial Group. Today we're going to talk about something that everyone finds interesting. There is so much attention drawn to your kitchen and also to some of the finest restaurants. We have quite a few right here in Louisville, Kentucky. We're going to talk about food with a man who certainly knows that subject, and that is Executive Chef Randy Pasch. Randy, welcome to the show. Chef Randy, I want to show some respect here.
Thank you so much.
Chef, thank you for coming in, man. I am excited to talk about this because I think we can all agree that a lot of magical things happen in the kitchen, right?
Absolutely right. First of all, it's my pleasure being here. Thank you for the platform to be able to highlight the culinary industry and having me be here today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you are an executive chef, a corporate chef for a very prestigious company, Manna Incorporated.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about the job and what it encapsulates as far as the difference between maybe a chef we see in a restaurant and what you do.
Yes, sir. And so Manna is a Christian-based company, African-American owned. It's a company as well. It's been able to give me a platform to be able to do what I love to do, which is cook for good people. At the same time, give me a platform to be able to serve the community and be able to follow my dreams and meet some incredible people in the city and beyond as well.
I think it's well established, Chef, that cooking is certainly an art form. Mm-hmm. And so whenever I see an artist, I say, oh, you were born with this. Cooking may be a little bit different, but was there a point where you had this epiphany and you go, you know what, I should be a chef. I've got this magic in my hands. How did you know?
I knew at an early age that I wanted to be able to be a chef, mainly because, I'm a big guy. I got to eat. Also, it's an industry where it's not a dying industry. Everybody got to eat, so there's always gonna be jobs available in this world, in this market. But for me, it's like coming together as a family, coming together cooking, coming together eating together as a family. Food is powerful, and food brings people together, and I think food can fix a lot of problems in this world.
I think, in my opinion, it seems that we're living in a golden age of food.
Yes,
there's
sir.
all this attention with, the Food Network and all of these websites. And it seems to me there's much more emphasis than there used to be. What do you attribute that to? And what has it done for your life, Chef?
Like being a chef, it just really changed my life. I'm able to embrace it. I'm able to make a living for my family. I'm able to give back to the community that I live in. I'm able to do so much more. And I always tell people I'm so much more than just a chef. When you say just a chef, it kind of puts me in a box, but I'm so much more, meaning like I'm a man of God. I'm somebody's son. I'm somebody's friend. But being a chef mainly gives me so many different outlets to meet so many incredible people, celebrities. I'll be able to cook for the homeless. I'll be able to cook for friends and family. It's just like the networking alone, but at the same time, you said being a chef just really gave me a platform to highlight who I am and be able to take God's blessing and God's talent that He blessed me with and be able to give it back and be able to make a living out of it and have fun doing it. I really love what I do, and everything that I cook really, it shows that. And my clients and my people that I cook for, just know I'm on a different level when I cook for them.
Chef Randy, you said something there that I think really opens the window to the person that you are, that you speak of. The celebrities we'll get to, because that caught everyone's ear. With that being said, there's something else that resonates with me. You talked about feeding the homeless.
Yes.
So it's not all about executive dinners and celebrities, and don't get me wrong, all that's fine and dandy.
Yeah.
But that's important to you. Your spirituality is something that's very important to you.
Yes, and so my mission right now is to be able to give back to the world what God gave me. God blessed me with talent to cook. I know how to cook a large amount of food for a very cheap price and be able to feed a lot of different people. I know growing up, I experienced homelessness with my own family. I experienced poverty as well. I live in a community where I see it every day. I see homeless people sleeping on the side of the street. It bothers me every time I drive by. So my mission is not just to cook for celebrities, but to really give back and cook for people that really, really need it. It's not just about money, but it's about opportunity to change people's life. That one meal that I cook for that homeless could be their last meal. that person may not wake up the next day without it. And so for me, that's my main thing is I want to feed people and I want to feed a large amount of people and I want to change the world. So that's why I say I'm more than just a chef. I really want to change the world by being a chef in my platform.
You know, I think the Legato Financial Group, who this show is, of course, we always say powered by, but they're powered by doing the right thing. So you mentioned feeding the homeless. Talk about the entity that you work for, and perhaps some folks might say, hey, I'd like to give. I'd like to make a difference, just like Chef Randy.
Yeah, so right now in 2024, my main focus is I joined an organization called Lydia House. It's a Western, small little house. A couple old ladies in a house cooking for the like the poverty area in the Western area, and it's a small organization. I found out through my church. I found out through it by my Bible study, and I saw that there was a need, and I just wanted to be a helper. You know, I want to be a servant. I want to be obedient. I want to really make a difference. Not just talk about it, but really be about it. And by no mistake, even though I'm cooking for homeless, I'm cooking for people that don't have a lot of money or a lot of things, the same quality, the same effort, the same passion, the same love that I cook for the homeless, I would do the same thing for a celebrity. And so, and so the standards don't change because I don't cut corners. I just trust the process, and I believe in myself, and I believe that through my cooking and through the people I'm around or anywhere I go, I want to be a blessing. Any room I enter, any message, any phone call that I get, I want to be a blessing. And so that's my goal, this mission. I've been through a lot. Life is hard after COVID. And also being a chef, the mental health is crazy as it is. And so the more that I serve, the more that my cup gets full. And that's my purpose, and that's my goal this time. It's not about chasing awards as a chef. It's not about look at me, ego, and things like that. That's fun and cool and all, but I don't chase money. I chase opportunity. I want to be a better man in this world, and it starts with me doing it every day, not just talking about it. It's easy to go in the office and write down goals and talk about it and look cute and get online, but are you really doing what you're saying that you're doing?
Wow. I feel your passion. So let's talk about, okay, we know you're passionate about what you do. Let's talk a little bit about your knowledge. Where did you begin your training at?
Yeah, so my knowledge, I was blessed to be able to go to a culinary high school. I was on a culinary, it's a competition team, ended up winning a scholarship to come to Louisville, and went to a culinary school locally at Sullivan University, graduated, and then I went to school for business at University of Louisville, and then I really got bored with the food scene in Louisville, to be honest, and so I had to go to Chicago to learn hands-on. You could be book smart in this world, but you have to have common sense, and common sense meaning I learned under great chefs in Chicago, working hands-on all day, all night, working with great chefs in Chicago. And I detained that information and I brought it back, and now I teach the younger generation what it's about being a chef. It's about knowledge. It's not about just cooking cute food, but do you know why you're doing it? Do you know how much it costs? Do you know where it grows? Like, do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Because if you don't have a why you're doing it, you won't last that long. There's too much competition. There's too many great chefs. There's too many people out here that will just run circles over you.
I could see how young chefs could really be, inspired by you. Who inspired you? Was there a certain chef that you said, okay, this guy seems to have the kind of skill set that I have. I want to do this.
I'm old school. So I grew up with my mom and my grandma watching Food Network, like watching TV back in the day. My mom's from Paris, France. So we always watch Julia Childs growing up. That's the mecca of cooking. Julia Childs is the staple for me.
They say her cookbook is still
it's
staple,
still number
right?
one. She's a legend. And then we talk about like a chef I look up to more modern is Thomas Keller. Thomas Keller is more a modern French cuisine, straight to the book, really finesse, very, very talented. Because I believe, man, I can give you the recipe, but without the passion, without the knowledge, you're gonna mess it up.
Yep.
You're gonna mess it up because
I promise you I would.
Because your heart's not into it. You know what I'm saying? You got to love what you do or don't do it, because there's so many people that love what they do and they don't get the same opportunities to be behind a camera. They don't get the same opportunity to go to Food Network. All that's a blessing, but it's not just, you can't just wake up and like, oh, I want to do this. Why do you want to do it? And your why has to be bigger than anything else.
Let's talk about Food Network. You've made quite a few appearances on national television.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about some of your success there, and what does that do for you as a chef? Is it more, you already know you're a talented chef.
Yes, sir.
Is it more, I don't know, does it help your pay grade? Does it more notoriety? What's it about?
So Food Network, man, I was blessed to be on a few shows. I was blessed to be able to meet a lot of people from Food Network, and that's a path that I took just for fun. I took it. It's something I didn't always wanted to do, but it's like, man, why not? I'm a funny guy. I like to make people laugh, and I talk a lot of trash. And so why not go on TV and not just talk trash, but be able to back it up on a high level? There's a lot of chefs that don't get that opportunity, but for me, it's like I got one opportunity or multiple opportunities. I'm gonna make the best out of it, because in this world we live in, one day you up here, the next you down here. So for me, but really, like, the why factor that we didn't really talk about is my mom. So for me to go on Food Network and be able to have my mom and my nephews and my family watch their only son on TV compete at a high level, where me and my mom used to watch Food Network together, and now my mom's watching her only son on TV. It's incredible. And so win or lose, even when I lose, I'm still winning. And it's like, and it's because not a lot of people don't get that opportunity or those phone calls. They call 1,000 different chefs, but not everybody gets the opportunity to be on TV. So for me, if I have that opportunity, I'm gonna take it and run with it. Even though I get nervous, even though I get scared and the clock's ticking, and I mean, like you're saying, like being on Food Network is crazy because the cameras are all over you, the pressure, and like there's different competition. But for me, my whole life was pressure, and so being able to be on TV and competing on a high level with pressure, it's an easy
You
thing.
welcome it.
Just another day at the office.
Well, it seems to me, because
Just
I've been
another
in
day.
quite a few kitchens, and there's pressure there.
Yeah,
You know, so
I
let's
like
talk a
it.
little bit about the vibe in the kitchen. I have watched people, like you see someone like Chef Ramsay, and I don't know how much of that military kind of thing he's got going on, how much of that is for show, and how much of it is because that's the way he is. What's your vibe like in the kitchen? I've seen him very strict, and I've also seen him really fun. I think it all depends on, starts from the top. It starts from the chef, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so what's your vibe like in your kitchen when you have your sous chef and everyone working around you? What's it like?
My vibe in the kitchen is calm, collective. I have a respect for food and knowledge for food. And so Chef, like Gordon Ramsay, he gets kind of crazy because people don't really respect the food. For me, like, I'm not a crazy chef. I don't throw things, but I do cook at a high level, and I do expect, I do expect perfection, because the people that I'm cooking for are paying a high dollar. We live in a world where everything's so expensive. So if someone calls me to cook for them, I want to be able to deliver, because I know that person sacrificed a lot to even hire me to get to their kitchen to cook for them. And so I take that in perspective. And also, is like, I respect what I do, and I love what I do, and I have pride for what I do, and I have high standards for myself.
So this I think will be interesting, because of the way you cook, things can happen. Deals can be cut.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the night that was average becomes magical, and everyone's clicking, because that's what food does.
Yeah.
So that, to me, would be added pressure for you. Do you like that? When you get a rave review, or someone comes to you and says, thank you, because of you, I put a pen in his hand and he signed a deal. He or she signed a deal. That's got to feel good.
Absolutely. I mean, for me so for me, when I cook for somebody, I'm creating memory. I'm creating experience. I'm creating a taste of one bite tells me everything I need to know if I did my job or not. When that person take one bite, the texture, the flavor, like just like everything about it, the juiciness, everything, it tell me with that facial expression of that person eating my food if I delivered or not. In 1 second, one bite. And let me tell you something, I always deliver, I never miss. And that's not cocky, that's not arrogant. I just perfected my craft. But I want to be clear, is I'm always the student. I've been cooking for 17 years professionally, and I'm still learning. I'm still the student, and that's very, very important that young people hear that. You always got to keep learning, because the food scene is always changing. If you don't adapt with the times, then you're going to be an old school chef and you'll be out of business in no time. Or you're going to be a bitter chef, be alcoholic, smoking cigarettes in the back of the kitchen,
Wow.
depressed.
Interesting.
And that's facts.
So you were talking about things changing and evolving. So there's some current trends. To you, it may be old school, but like this fusion thing that's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of, you got, French, and maybe you fuse it with Latino food, or perhaps, Southern food seems to be, comfort food seems
Yeah.
to be real popular.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the fusions and maybe some of your favorites.
The fusions is cool. I mean, like I'm not gonna lie. I'm more a classical French train, meaning I'm more finesse, more serious about my cooking. I like to have respect for my food and the way that I treat it. However, like in this era, 2024, 2023, it's like people are mixing. But mixing is good. You have to adapt. If you don't adapt to the new things and the new trends, the new TikToks and the Instagram videos and stuff like that, the new trends, you're gonna be outdated. And some of those things, I'm not gonna lie, I am a professional chef, but I also learn a lot from little TikToks and things like that. I'm like, wow, I never thought about that hack. And so they teaching me something that someone that has 17 years experience. I go on TikTok and some little kid's doing something crazy. I'm taking it and implementing it in my kitchen. Why not? You'd be stupid not to.
That's good advice.
You have
What
to
you're
be-
saying is be open-minded to any
have to be
taste, anything
open-minded.
that's good for the taste buds, right?
You have to be open-minded because people want new stuff. People want new experiences, and this is how you be different. You have to take a risk by like mixing and matching and taking different cuisines and things like that. At the end of the day, they don't care if if it's Asian or French. If it tastes good and looks good, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but I would think though, you were talking about respect for the food. So
Yes.
if you have like maybe this really flavorful, to me, like a Korean dish, a Korean dish, you wouldn't want to put it up against or with a French dish that's very subtle and is a different attraction, or would you?
Well, let me ask you, why not? Who's your consumer? Who's eating it? Because some people, I tell you right now, like, I mean, it's just like, why not who you're feeding? For me, I know, like people always ask me, what's your favorite dish? And which is like, by the way, which is the worst question to ask a chef, what's your favorite dish? Especially when you do it every day. I cook every day. I've been cooking every day for 17 years. Every day. I not miss a beat.
Hold on, let me take that one off the list then. No asking him.
Because for me, it's my favorite dish. I'm a personal private chef. So it's what is your favorite dish? And what's your, like, if you went to Italy, if you went to Paris, what's that one dish that you tried that just fell apart, like you just melted in your heart? My job is I want to recreate that dish. So let's say if you have an anniversary and you and your wife went to Paris and had this cheesecake or whatever the case may be, I want to remake it for you, to create that dish right in your house. That's who I am. Because I think it's not only a challenge for me. I take challenges. I do that because I want to create memories with every bite that I create for you guys.
So it goes beyond
so much
taste.
bigger than more.
So much bigger than it's an experience.
Oh my God, when you hire me, it's definitely about the experience. Because I think when you hire me, you got to assume that the food is going to be there. I mean, the taste got to be there. If you hire a chef, yes, you better be able to cook. But I go a step further. I want to create memory. I want to create experience. I want to create the best dish ever. So when you leave there, like when I say I don't chase money, I chase opportunity. So when I'm done with you at your house and you ate my food, you go to your business meeting like, man, I just had the best meal of my life. Word of mouth is the biggest advertisement that you can ever have.
I've heard a lot about you. I've heard a lot about you.
I got 0 commercials. I got no PR team. I've been on 3 Food Network shows. I cook for a billionaire. I work for a company that's very successful. I cook for multiple celebrities, multiple athletes, and no advertisement. It's all God, all work power, all will. You can be successful at anything you do if you have the right reasons why you do it.
So, Chef Randy, here's a question for you. Whenever we go, someone watching this I think would agree, you go to the restaurants that gives you consistently good food. My question for you is, let's say you have a party of 20 for Manna Incorporated.
Yeah.
And these are high-level executives. You've got ladies and gentlemen here who are important people. How do you please them all? Obviously, you can't go individual and go, okay, each one. So you're doing a meal for everyone. Let's say they called you 2 days before. Do you have a go-to where you go, okay, everyone likes this? What do you do, Randy?
I'll be honest with you. Like when I get in those situations, I do get nervous, but sometimes a lot of people don't know what they actually want to eat. So my job is to, let's say you could say you don't like mushrooms, but you could say you don't like mushrooms because someone didn't cook mushrooms right the first time. So then you go through life hating mushrooms. Then you meet somebody like me, Chef Randy. I cook you beautiful mushrooms. You're like, oh my God, I never had anything like it. You just changed my whole perspective. So that's what I'm saying. And so like for me, it's like, I don't worry about what I think they like. I just know what works. You know what I'm saying? I just know, I trust, I'm very confident. If I gave you a dish, even if you may not like it, it's going to look so sexy, you're going to at least try it.
So confidence is a lot of it then.
Oh my God. Being a chef in general, you got to be confident. But there's a fine line, very, very fine line between arrogant and cocky and confidence. But when you've been doing it for a very, very long time, when you walk in the room, you got to own that room. When you walk in the kitchen, you got to own that kitchen. When you put that plate down, it's like you got to know, just like a competition, just like a Food Network competition. When you lay that plate down, I'm finished. It's up to you. And you can eat it any way you want to eat it. Because some people are always like, I want you to eat it like this. I want you to eat it this first and that first. No, eat it the way you want to eat it. Each bite's going to be different. Each bite's going to elevate the flavor and the texture and the flavor. And just like the presentation, it's going to be delicious.
So if I have Chef Randy cook for me, then my favorite meal is going to be the one you put in front of me.
Absolutely. And also too, like on the other side of things too, is when I cook for clients, is I pick your brain. I figure out what you're allergic to. I figure out what you like, what you don't like. And then you give me, I like beef. I'm a simple steak and potato guy. That's everybody in Kentucky. That's what they always say. So cool. I don't like doing the basics. So I'm going to take that and turn it to the next level.
Broaden your horizons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not something crazy, man. A lot of people think, oh, what's the secret to cooking? Oh, well, the secret to cooking is, man, just season the food, man. Just season the food with a little salt and pepper. At least do that. You know what I'm saying? But then also like a little bit of acid, a little bit of lemon juice, a little pink sea salt go a long way too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will stop here. For me, I keep going. I make sure it's a home run dish every time.
Let's talk a little bit about, because I'm curious about your thoughts. There seems to be this big movement, and I think it's here to stay. It has legs, about going farm to fork and sustainable. And so, tell me your thoughts about this. Probably long overdue. I think it's always existed, but now it's almost like if you don't have it, you're out of the mix, right?
So just like I mentioned earlier, is like I want to give back to the community by serving the homeless. Also, as a chef, you have to give back to the community by sourcing out local products to help our local farmers in Kentucky. There's a lot of farmers that don't get recognition. There's a lot of farmers that put a lot of work in, and people say, "Hey, what's the secret to cooking?" Using the freshest ingredients, using the best ingredients possible grown in your area, and also being a chef is just not about cooking, but it's sourcing out the right product and taking care of like you said, the state that you're living in. For me, I build that relationship with farmers. I'll figure out what you're growing, and sometimes farmers are like, hey chef, what do you want me to grow? And that's cool too. But I love working with farmers. I love getting their produce. I love getting their meat and proteins and things like that. I think it takes the pressure off of me when I'm getting good product. I don't have to think too much when I'm getting fresh product. However, chefs, when they get good product, local product, just let it have respect, meaning like let it speak for a lot. If it's carrots, serve the carrots the way it looks like carrots. You don't gotta serve me a carrot foam or carrot gel. I want a damn carrot that look like a damn carrot. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
People try to get too crazy. Keep it simple.
Because I know you're spiritual, I can say this because God made it pretty good already. It's already ready to roll.
Yes, because you don't have to transform it. A lot of people try to do too much. Just keep it simple. A little olive oil, nice hard sear, salt and pepper, a little bit of lemon juice.
Perfect.
Just keep it simple. When you got good product. When you buy bad product, then of course you have to transform into something else. So people know when you're using bad product. And if chefs are looking at this, people do know the quality that you're using.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any question about that.
People know. First bite, they know.
Okay, speaking of quality and speaking of things that you grow locally, something we're very proud of that we grow here is bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
Now all these pairings with food and bourbon and
bourbon,
wine and food. So talk about pairings a little bit. So bourbon, I see you light up there. Is that you're obviously very good at this?
It's so funny because people I love bourbon. I'm a Woodford guy, but I also like Mitchell's. And but every competition I went on Food Network, I always use bourbon. And every competition I do, I always show off bourbon because that's the state that I'm from. I love bourbon. Bourbon got me through a lot of tough times, literally. After work, a little shot every now and then. But I love bourbon because of the flavor. I like it using it in vinaigrettes. I like using it as a marinade. I like using
vanilla. You got chocolate. You got
that smoky
yes.
that caramel flavor, that smokiness from like the wooden barrels, and also it's just delicious. It's so delicious, and it gives a different element. Now everybody in Kentucky and Louisville always uses it. And they use it any way that I would use it too. And I can't hate on it, but everybody does it. But they do it for the right reason. Why not? And that's the same thing as me supporting a local farmer, is you got to support the local bourbon industry, which is booming right now.
You're a Woodford guy. I'm a Michter's guy.
I'm a Woodford guy because I use it for a lot of desserts, and they got that caramel and that nice,
but
nice
you like
flavor.
Michter's too?
I like, yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
we're good.
For sure.
All right, well, we're good. I just want to make sure.
For sure. For sure.
Where do you see trends heading? We talked a little bit about fusions and pairings. Some of these are going to be staples and fundamental cooking.
Yeah.
But what do you see? Where are we going now? I think as the world seems to become a smaller place, it's interesting. We are getting a lot more exposure from other countries. So what do you see? What's the next big thing, I guess?
I'll be honest with you. I've been seeing a lot more like Asian influence. I think a lot of people, they don't get out of out of Louisville or out of their comfort zone. And so anytime you get a chef that brings in like Asian flavors, Asian got a lot of nice, bold flavors, very unique, very different from other cuisines. I think people would trend to that. Like people want change. And so when people say, hey, like you asked me earlier about the fusion, hey chef, what do you think about the fusion? I respect the fusion. People want something different. People want different stuff. And people like, oh, what's the secret for people coming to your restaurant? Just cook good food. Just cook good food. And be irrelevant, which is fusion, and see what the trends are. But I think the trends right now is people love Asian right now. You know, like one chef I admire in Louisville is Edward Lee. He brings it every single time.
No
His
question.
flavors is
He's
without
incredible.
question. Like the other products that Asian influences, the Bourbon Barrel Foods. They got a lot of Bourbon Barrel soy products that I'm a huge fan of. That smokiness of the sesame seeds, the smokiness, the paprika. I'm a huge fan of Bourbon Barrel Foods.
So we should take advantage of the fact that we have bourbon here. We have great farm products. Take advantage of the fact you're in a place that could be a hotbed for restaurants, and is.
Absolutely right. Because people, why would we not, as chefs or consumers, would take advantage of the local farmers here or the local bourbon here when people are flying all over the world to be here, especially Derby, to try the bourbon, to try the food? Let's embrace it and let's not run from it.
Okay, so this is going to seem simplistic because you're a chef, an executive chef for a very high-end company.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so I'm gonna bring it down to my level here a little bit. Okay, so let's say I'm having a romantic dinner with my wife.
Yes, sir.
And I'm okay in the kitchen. I don't want to get too exotic, but I want to do something that'll impress her. Can you recommend something for guys out there who go, hey, here comes Valentine's Day, here comes
Yeah.
whatever occasion, wedding anniversary?
Yeah. So, one, if you want to press her, call me. Call me.
Oh, I like that
Call me.
answer. You don't leave it to a
Call me.
professional.
Second thing is, if you really want to press your lady, understand what she likes. Mostly, not biased here, most ladies like seafood. Everybody in the mama loves salmon, unfortunately. I don't like salmon, but salmon is the way to go because it's kind of hard to mess it up. And it takes really well to marinades, a nice grill or nice hot pan. You can't really go wrong with it. Nice little sauce, saute some veggies, little steamed rice. You can't go wrong with it. But for Valentine's Day, advice I would give you if you try and cook for your lady is, one, hire me for sure. Two is understand your lady. Understand what she like and what she don't like. Some people don't like all that fancy stuff. Some people just want just good food, you know. But now, just understand your lady, understand who you're cooking for.
There we go.
And make sure that you're able to pull it off.
Okay.
And make sure she's on time, because I tell you one thing. Speaking of, if men are cooking for Valentine's Day for their ladies, if you're listening, is like, man, be on time. If the man takes all the time to go grocery shopping and cook for them, and the dinner's at 5:30, and you show up at 6:15, the food's not going to taste as good. And you're going to judge your man like your man can't cook. And reality is, he put everything into it to cook for you, and you messed it up.
There we go.
Okay, so
fair enough. You're right.
so
So
just
I'm
be
going to put
honest.
this time in. You be on time.
Be on time.
Okay.
Nothing's worse as a chef. And I say right now too, and my clients, if you guys listen to, is like, nothing worse if I'm cooking for you and you say a start time and you guys not ready to eat. I'm not mad about you guys running late. I care more about the food than I care about the person I'm cooking it for. I care more about the food than anything else. If you hire me to cook, I care about the food and how you eat it, and make sure it's warm and the right temperature, and make sure it's all right, because you're paying for it.
I have to ask you this. Last question here, okay?
Yeah.
So I know you've cooked for a lot of celebrities, and I know also there's a lot of these celebrities who prefer that you don't disclose.
Yeah.
You know, you probably have to sign something at times. It's like, don't
I got to
tell
sign an
anyone.
NDA.
NDA, so
yeah.
non-disclosure agreement.
Yes, sir.
So you sign these NDAs. Okay, so with that being said, without mentioning names, what's kind of the weirdest meal that you put together? And I'm sure it tasted well, but somebody said, I want this on my menu, and you go, oh, that's a little different. Was there something you said?
Yes, I'll be honest. This happened to me recently. So I deal when I deal with celebrities, I deal with like signing NDAs and stuff too. Is like I deal with like the nutritionists. The nutritionist will call me and say, hey, my client wants this goal to get a 6-pack for the album cover. I'm like, cool, no problem, but I need you to implement tofu. This guy is a little bit younger. He doesn't like to eat a lot of stuff. He travels over the world, but he really has a kid palate. My job is to make sure when I'm cooking for this particular person that I keep it bold flavors and keep it what he likes. The hardest thing I had to cook is tofu for the client that he never had tofu before.
Tofu to me is bland.
Tofu is bland.
But you can kick it up.
Yeah, you can kick it. Yeah, you can. But I was saying that was the hardest thing I had to cook for a client is tofu when somebody doesn't like tofu. But I will say this client, I've been cooking for this client for 3 years, going on this year. He's a superstar. He's a rap artist, local, and he's killing it. He's killing it, and I can't say who it is, but he is ripped.
I think I can guess.
So,
but I won't.
So, hard work pays off. I'm very blessed to have the clients that I have from celebrities and just normal people as well. And I'm blessed to be able to do what I do and be able to give back. And I really want to teach the new generation like the method. I don't have everything figured out. I'm not perfect by any means. I'm still learning, but the key thing is I'm still a student, but I want to help everybody out on the way.
Okay, we talked a little bit about movements and trends in your industry, but you're kind of starting a trend, something that you hope that maybe some of your peers, other chefs join in on. What are you doing, Randy?
Absolutely. I'm starting an organization called Chefs for Christ. It's when me and my, one of my other brothers in Christ came together and said, man, there's a need. There's a lot of mental health issues being a chef, a lot of drug addictions, a lot of alcohol problems and things like that. And so a lot of people as chefs, we are afraid to talk about the secret, which is God. God gets us up every day. And so I want to embrace who I am. I love being a chef, but I also love God more. If I can have both of those on the same platform every second of my day, I will be successful, and this is why I am who I am. So the organization is a Chef for Christ. It's a bunch of chefs coming together, talking about our problems, talk about the industry, and figuring out where can we help out the community and help out each other's and be able to, it's an outlet to release what we're going through, because a lot of people feel alone. And it's crazy when we talk about our problems as chefs and what we're going through, we're actually going through the same thing at the same time. And we can be able to help each other out in life.
So making not only the kitchen a better place, but your community, the world a better place eventually.
Absolutely right, because us chefs, we got so much pride and ego, and it's like we should be able to be who we are and embrace it. And I only talk about God so much because I came from nothing to something, and that is the secret to who I am. That's the secret to my recipe, is God. So.
I feel your authenticity, Chef. So people who have watched this and have been very impressed, like I have, Chef Randy.
Thank you so much.
I said last question, but I will ask you this.
Yeah.
How do they get a hold of you? How does someone find you?
So if you want to get a hold of me, you can call my cell, or you can hit me up on Instagram, rpash11, RPASCH 11 on Instagram. But like my biggest thing is a word of mouth is huge for me. I don't do advertising. I don't do anything. I want to put my effort into my food. I don't do a lot of reels and videos and edits and stuff, because anybody can get at home and edit and take their time doing that. You taking time to edit, I'm taking time to actually perfect my craft where you don't have to edit that much. That's key. You have to love what you do, and you have to make sure that you are humble and still passing on knowledge to the young youth. That's the next generation. A lot of people, I believe, like the younger youth, don't want to detain information from the older people. The older people think it's a secret, or the secret to success, so they keep it inside. Now the world's going crazy. No one knows what's going on, but we're all pointing the finger. For me and my secret to success, I surround myself with people that's better than me, people that are very successful, and because greatness is just as contagious as COVID, and so I stick to great people, because I want that knowledge, and knowledge is more than money.
I buy into that, because I've surrounded myself with someone much better than me, being you, Chef Randy. So thank you very much, Chef Randy Pasch. Once again, you know what the name of the show is. It is Gaining Interest, about anything interesting. Certainly this has been interesting. Hey, things can get interesting in the kitchen. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.